first.
JD, yes.
Mm-hmm.
JD and Diddy. So, did you guys catch the Fat Joe live?
Oh yeah,
You saw it? Everybody saw
Some
it?
of it.
No.
I
Some
did.
of it. Okay. Snoop, I believe, was in the fourth square on there.
You're talking about when Drake was rubbing on Fat Joe's chest?
Nah, I don't even know what that is.
I know what he's talking about.
I know what you're
'cause
talking
saw
about,
that.
but I
He was
turned,
like-
I clicked off of that.
He was like, "Did you? Today's price is
Not tomorrow's
not
price.
tomorrow's price, buddy."
And Khaled just gets up and is like, oh, he got to make it corny. Oh, yeah, I was
Drake
cool.
was extra comfortable rubbing on Fat Joe's chest. I'm just gonna say that and keep it
I
moving.
don't know what bothered me more. Fat Joe was a little comfortable getting his chest rubbed by Drake. So
I mean, it's all good. Do what you need, but
I stay out of grown folk business.
wasn't expecting it. I guess.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
to never be that rich.
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah, that was a pretty weird. He's stupid. That was a pretty weird moment. But Jermaine Dupri and Diddy been going back and forth about a possible versus, and Jermaine, I've said this before on the show. I don't think Jermaine Dupri gets the love that he should as a producer. Has always been my personal opinion. I think he is an all-time great, and I'm seeing people kind of they low key trying to play Jermaine as it relates to Diddy in this possible versus.
Jermaine.
I ain't say it like that. Don't even get me started on Jermaine because Jay Moore was just
We talked
destroying
about
the whole
Jermaine
Jackson
Jackson
family.
earlier.
Yeah,
so
he
now
killed the whole
Now we're
family.
gonna talk about Jermaine
Yeah,
Dupri,
JD, man.
who's
Yeah.
Diddy's brother, right?
No,
No.
man.
Oh,
Stop.
okay, sorry.
Anyway, man.
Metaphorically speaking, no.
No, man. Stop that. But where was okay? Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think they trying to play him. But here's my question, and we talk about Diddy all the time. Diddy said I'd body you based off Mary J. Blige's first album. You know, stuff that he was a part of. My thing is, how do we do this? Because Diddy is an executive producer on a lot of these great records. He did not produce them, and JD called him out on the live, like, fam, Diddy named a record. He was like, I don't see your name on the credits though.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Myrica, Stevie J did that.
There
record.
you go. The Hitman. So I'm looking at it like, how do you do this? Because he has a point. It's like JD was stunned. I think you posted on Twitter. He's like, I'm in the Songwriting Hall of Fame. It's me, Dallas Austin, Missy Elliott, and who was the fourth person he
Jay-Z.
named? And Jay-Z.
The biggest stunt he said on there is like, Diddy can't buy his way into the Songwriting Hall of Fame.
I felt that when he said it, because JD is really hands-on as it relates to the music process. So if we're looking at it from a versus standpoint, what do y'all feel about that? Should Diddy just be able to use all these albums that he's executive produced? Because people are going to say, oh, he put it together. He put this song here and that song there.
No.
Okay, talk to me. Why not?
No, because if you're talking about a producer's battle, when you talk about the other producer's battle,
Okay.
you know, when it was the RZA versus
Primo.
Premier,
Yep.
those are songs, it's say produced by RZA or DJ Premier.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much it.
That's all it was.
They might have had to give some songwriting, some, you know, because of samples and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know, and that's understandable. But when you talk about what Jermaine Dupri has done, like Jermaine Dupri wrote, you know, Jump, We Belong Together, and Welcome to Atlanta. Like, it's pretty much spans,
Yeah.
you know.
And Diddy said, "Wasn't nobody
he was
listen."
a breakdancer for Houdini on their tour.
Yeah. And when he said, oh, yeah, when Diddy said, no, I don't hear your songs at weddings. It's like, you mean you've never heard Let's Get Married?
Like, that was a big stunt, but he's right. Like,
No, let me tell you something. Like, when you're like at this point, like now, when there are different parts of the nostalgia wave that hit,
yeah.
these Usher songs,
Come on,
and
man.
these Mariah Carey songs, like he could say, I'd body you with just Mary J. Blige and Biggie. Like, he doesn't have Usher and Mariah Carey right over here. You know,
Like,
Man, he
Confessions
did a
ain't
lot of
nothing.
writing on
like
Confessions.
he doesn't have his name on
And production.
He doesn't have his name on diamond plaques.
Yeah.
Like, you got to understand, like, you might have said, hey, turn the drums up on this or whatever, you know, like, but you didn't produce Juicy.
What do you think?
You didn't produce One More Chance.
Let me ask Lone from a producer standpoint. What do you think about that, man, as it relates to how this should be looked at? Because we've had the conversation on the surface about
Beat makers
executive
versus
producer.
producers.
We've talked about that. But What do you think, man, in terms of these two guys going at it? Because I have nothing wrong with what JD's saying. I think everything he's saying is valid, and it gives him more credibility in this thing, in my personal opinion.
I don't think JD and Diddy is a good matchup
Why not?
because Diddy doesn't deserve to be in a Versus.
Not against Jermaine Dupri.
You preaching right now.
I mean, and I'm not a huge Jermaine Dupri fan, but you can't take away from what he has done as a songwriter.
Talk to him, Lone.
Like, you know, even as a producer, like I know a Jermaine Dupri beat when I hear it, and I don't like him, but you can't take away who
at least
Jermaine
at least
Dupri
you're
is.
honest.
Can't take away who he is. But and he's, you know, so I think Jermaine Dupri's, even though he's wants Diddy to do that, like he's above Diddy in my opinion. So maybe Diddy and Dr. Dre do make more sense because we don't know what Dre's produced in the last 2 decades. I don't know.
But
no,
the
he
stuff
put a
that
little flavor on some things here and there.
Maybe.
But the stuff that
We think.
but my thing is Dre has more that he can pull from that he actually produced than Diddy does.
I don't know if Diddy's ever physically made a
Well,
beat.
Diddy is more like Khaled before Khaled was Khaled.
So let's do Diddy and Khaled.
He's way better at
He's
that than Khaled.
washing
Yeah, he's washing
Khaled.
Khaled. Yeah.
Well, maybe
If we're
not.
talking about that.
Let's have the judges be the newer generation and the older generation.
Oh,
Man, he's
they-
still washing Khaled.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They might be the judges might be screaming we the best if they
Yeah,
do
I
it that
don't know.
way. Go ahead, man. What's your thoughts?
It all comes down to semantics.
Mm-hmm.
Be honest with you. I mean, if
Yeah.
we're talking about an executive producer or whatever he credits himself as
Excuse me.
over somebody that actually is hands on with every artist and is putting his pen to paper.
Yep.
I mean, he's not enlisting Dr. J to write his verses for him.
Right.
He's not enlisting Skills to write his verses for him.
True.
If JD wants to write a song, he's going to
Royce.
write it himself. No, so if we're talking semantics, if we're getting down to somebody that's actually produced something,
Yep.
then all day JD. But if you are including someone's executive catalog,
Mm-hmm.
then I mean you gotta give it to Puffy at the end of the day, because and both of them have transcended culture. Don't get me wrong.
For sure.
They both have shifted the culture on their own merit. But JD is more hands on, whereas Diddy is more pressing buttons and making sure to match up the work. Like, let me get this person with this person. Let me come in and hear the final version. Okay, that sounds good. Even on the Biggie movie, he wasn't producing nothing in that movie.
Yeah.
He was just in the studio.
Set a
And
team.
somebody was like playing.
Great team, by the way.
Playing, you know what I'm saying? Stevie J doesn't get enough credit if we
I
talk. If we want to
100%
be
agree.
I
100
just
about
don't-
that.
𝗏𝗏𝗄𝐻𝐿𝐿𝐿
Yeah.
get, you know.
They don't get the
100%
credit they
agree.
deserve because they single handedly were running that camp back then.
Yeah. I mean, if Versus is about artist and artist
Yeah.
going head to head, then Diddy does to me Diddy doesn't belong in that conversation. No matter what he's contributed to as an executive producer. Let's put Diddy as a rapper up against somebody.
Well,
I mean,
after
he's going to be going up against people that wrote his rhymes.
Yeah.
So exactly.
I mean,
That's why I mean he doesn't belong in my opinion.
So he's not all right, because I seen somebody make the
One.
don't do that, Long.
One.
Don't do that. Don't do
the
that.
correlation between him and what's my guy's name? Y'all threw me off with the
One.
Cut it
boy.
out, man.
One.
Cut
one.
that
Quincy
out.
Jones.
Quincy
Quincy
Jones.
Jones.
I thought about Quincy.
So Quincy
too, but-
Jones, he actually was a musician first,
Yeah.
Brilliant musician.
but he executive produced Thriller and Off the Wall.
I just don't think Diddy matches with anybody.
Well, no, I'm not saying he matches with Quincy Jones at all. I'm just saying as far as Quincy Jones' stature is, he has 2 albums under his belt that he executive produced.
3.
3 that he executive
He did that
produced.
as well.
That
did.
are 3 of the best-selling albums of all time. And I couldn't tell you if he played a bell, a piano key, or anything on those, but he structured them.
Yeah, he on a lot of those songs. He was the arranger. Rod Temperton did a lot of the. You're
Right,
talking
right.
about the first. You talk
But what-
about that. That's who did the writing and a lot of some
But
of
what
the
you
arranging.
just but what you just said though, even that to me is more than
No, that's what I'm saying.
as it relates to
But
what
Quincy
Diddy's
was
talking
in-
about. When he
Quincy
said
was in the-
arranging,
yeah, but
like,
Quincy was in the room for all those songs.
Yeah.
like
there are
literally
songs that-
arranging like the records though.
There are songs that Diddy just put his name on. Let's
That's
just
what I'm
keep it
saying.
real.
Except for like I give him credit for Ready to Die. this is a time where Diddy's hungry. This has to pop. You know what I'm saying? So I can see him being in the studio a lot with that. I can see him being in the studio a lot with Mary J.
But
he had just got this job with Uptown Records. He has to make sure this sounds good.
Yeah.
That this has my name on it essentially as an executive producer. So I have to make sure that it sounds right. I think he kind of got past that stage to where he just hired the right people and knew what was going to come out that room.
He's a businessman. That's what you do in business.
Yeah.
And
It is.
Look, this is the only way Diddy, I feel like if they're going to really do this matchup to where Diddy wins, if they make it Bad Boy versus So Def. Because when you take if it's just So Def, then you
Bad Boy wins.
You don't get the Mariah, you don't get to use the Usher songs.
Yeah.
You have to go with just Escape.
Does Bad Boy get to use Mary J and Jodeci?
Well, that's just it. But still, you know,
Point.
Because they're not Bad Boy.
You get to use Mace, the Locks.
It doesn't matter.
Black
Bad Boy's
Rob,
still gonna wash them properly.
Faith, Carl Thomas. You know, you get there's enough
Craig
there.
Loon.
Oh.
Like don't do that. I'm just looking at the track list right.
Fundisha. Y'all, I'm sorry, y'all don't remember Fundisha.
I'm just looking at the track list right now.
Bad
The Ready
Boy
to Die
days.
track list, just off GP. Like Diddy's name is he's listed as a producer for the intro. Then it goes
I mean,
Easy.
that's probably just because he was talking on it.
Yeah.
That's my point. Easy
maybe he was
Moby,
like,
Primo, Lord Finesse, like Chucky Thompson.
I've never seen a picture or even heard a story of Diddy making a beat.
I'm not mad at you.
He might bring a producer a sample.
Yeah, but I've never heard a story. I've never heard somebody tell a story of Diddy like working on a track.
I mean, he's an executive.
He's not in
listed
there
as
tapping out on the MPC.
No, he's not making ideas.
he's listed as an executive producer for Jay-Z's American Gangster. And all he heard about them making the album and was like, hey, yo, Playboy, I'm so inspired, blah, 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 blah. I want to be a part of it. Next thing you know, he's listed as an executive producer on the album.
You could use Nas as an example. He used his homie as an executive producer for album.
Yeah, Ill Will.
Ill Will, he's not even here.
Facts.
So I mean, you can throw that title around however you decide you want to throw it around. He might have did that so that his family can eat off something.
And I'm not here like we didn't come up in the Bad Boy era, and I'm not saying, you know, their impact is beyond, like, you can't tell the story without it. So we're not here for that.
Hey, I listened.
It's just as it relates to.
I listened to Diddy's album a lot when I was a kid.
Come on, man. Like, we're not here for that, but I'm just saying as it relates to this.
And No Way Out was actually a good album.
It was.
It was.
Yeah, but I don't want to hear Diddy be like, all right, and then he plays Unbelievable in his set. I'll be like, fam, come on now.
Y'all didn't see Suge out here doing that mess.
No.
Maybe it should be Diddy and Suge.
No, it should not.
All up in the videos.
Dancing. Yeah, man, I'm just more, Red August said Master P.
Nah. I give
Nah.
Master P a little bit more respect.
Yeah,
Master P was writing his own verses at least.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He might not have been on the beat machine. Shout out to KLC and them. But he was definitely penning his own verses and, you know, songwriting and all that. But I'm just more I lean more towards JD in this because you have my respect if you're more hands on because songwriting's not easy, man. And it's just
I just don't think they match.
it's just a bad
Like-
match for that. I agree.
I'm just saying, Jermaine Dupri can go into a room with a keyboard and a beat machine and a pen and a pad and come out with something that winds up being number one.
That's a fact.
What's
I don't know if
crazy-
Diddy's ever done anything.
That's a fact.
What's crazy is when JD extended the offer, how Puffy kind of just played him like he.
That's what I'm talking
You
about.
can't, you
That's what I
can't
was
sit
about
at the
to
same
say.
table with me. It's like, come on,
What?
man.
Yeah.
If I'm telling you, if as somebody in the music, you know what his track record is.
Facts.
For you to play him like
I'm not in the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying.
That's disrespectful.
That's
the
what
only
my
person
point.
that can come in the ring with me is Dre.
Yeah.
Dre ain't even messing with verses. They said Dre was
Dre was like, yeah, this ain't for me.
he was sitting in on the Teddy Riley little debacle.
Yeah.
And that's when
called
he
it.
decided, yeah, I'm cool.
And like Drake, people think Diddy's like the only person that could do it would be Dre. And I'm like, fam, Dre really could start at like 88 on you and go all the way up until I don't know.
Say Dre started at world class wrecking.
That's
crew
what I'm saying,
and
man.
Stopped at doggy style. He's beating anybody.
Bro, like we
Diddy doesn't make beats.
we didn't get the Eminem 50 Cent. Like, come
No,
on, man.
'cause this
Like,
is
Why
when
are we
Dre-
even talking about Diddy?
Yeah, like I said, this is when Dre was making. This is when Dre was really in there tapping
Cut
it
it
out.
out, Long.
Maybe him and Yella.
mean-
But that, other than that,
I'm
come
just
on
saying,
now.
man.
Like, I think
Talking
any,
about Dr. Dre.
yeah.
listen,
Diddy
man.
just put himself in a position to where he could
People are really
he could pay
questioning
his
him
way
now.
in,
Yeah.
and he made it happen. He is very successful at it. But as far as actually producing some stuff,
Hey,
Nah,
JD,
fam.
nah.
JD checking him
fam.
on them credits live though. I laughed out loud when I saw that.
I mean, I'm happy JD did what. I'm glad he did that though. You know,
I agree.
because
Honestly,
because
I
a
would
lot of
rather
pe-
see
because a lot of people-
JD and Dr. Dre.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's closer.
I mean, I don't think I'd be interested in that, but
closer.
I mean, apparently, yeah.
JD got classic records in 3 different genres.
Facts. Puffy was on live like, ain't nobody listening to Criss Cross.
money
I'm
ain't
like-
a thing.
All right, but
He
he's
has
more than Criss Cross.
Confessions is a classic album.
Yeah.
That's R&B. That still today holds the crown.
He got
Mariah Carey
all of Escape's
is
catalog.
pop. You know what I'm saying? And she held the crown as far as a pop
Man.
And they
side
got
of things.
him
for
and
a
Mariah
grip.
got bangers.
Yeah.
Once Verzuz turned into pop music and all this other stuff, I got even more disinterested than I already was.
Would you like to see Pretty Lover Boy performed in a Verzuz?
Yeah, he can go up against Kanye.
They talking about
with no security. That's what I'm like. That's all I want to see. I want to
Well,
see
we
a
know-
versus with no security.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him when they're doing this to each other.
They're
No,
like,
man.
They're like, my house in Calabasas is nicer. Yeah.
They need to
And
cut
Drake's
that
like, calm down, buddy.
Yeah.
Calm down. Let me rub you in
if
your
we want to
chest.
keep it a buck though, because we brought up the Drake and Kanye thing.
I think it would be good.
Drake technically has not reached Kanye's status as far as albums are concerned. Kanye has
Oh, okay.
4 to 5 classic albums in his pocket.
Yeah, but Drake's got singles. He's the single master.
That's true.
And when you're talking about
Yeah.
About a
verses,
Yeah, that's true. All right.
That would save him in that is those singles, those records. Yeah, he can run those
Plus,
off back to back.
I think he's a little more. I don't want to say relevant because they're both relevant, but Drake's like hits are still kind of fresh on people.
Be clear though.
A lot of Kanye's heat. A lot of these
For
kids,
Kanye,
a lot of these kids that like the Drake stuff, they were like 5.
Kanye out the gate
6.
though. Drake can't sniff his catalog out the gate. Can't.
but when it comes to verses, neck and neck.
Yeah.
Especially
All right,
what-
man.
We're not comparing albums. We're comparing.
Because
And we're not
Drake
even
is
ta-
featured on
and we're not even
everything.
talking about production. We're just talking
True.
about raps.
Yes, that's true.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure you join our live show every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/newoldheads. You can also catch playback of all of our shows on any podcast app and youtube.com/newoldheadsnetwork. And go to newoldheads.com/community to join our Discord.